The sirens wailed through the small town of Willow Creek as Officer Daniel Pierce tightened his grip on the leash of his 9 partner, Rex. The German shepherd's ears perked, nose twitching, as if he already knew something was wrong. But no one expected that what Rex was about to uncover would not only save a life, it would expose a secret so dark that it left an entire town in disbelief. It began with a single call. A neighbor had reported seeing a little girl, no older than 8, wandering barefoot near the edge of the forest. She hadn't spoken a word. Her eyes were wide with fear, her lips trembling, but not a sound escaped her. The girl was silent, completely silent, and she clutched a torn piece of fabric in her hand like it was her only lifeline. When the officers tried to approach, she bolted back into the trees. That's when they brought in Rex. Rex lowered his nose to the fabric and instantly caught the scent. With Officer Pierce guiding him, he darted into the woods. Branches cracked underfoot, the tension growing with each passing second. The girl's silence haunted them. Why wasn't she speaking? What had she seen? Finally, Rex stopped. His body stiffened, his chest rumbled with a low growl. Ahead, hidden between twisted roots and broken boards of an old cabin, they found the girl curled up, hugging her knees, eyes swollen from tears. She didn't speak. She didn't move. But when Rex gently nuzzled her hand, she finally relaxed, for the first time since she was found. The girl was taken to safety, but the mystery deepened. First challenge. She refused to talk. Doctors confirmed she could speak, but something had silenced her will. Trauma had locked her voice away. Second challenge. The fabric she clutched turned out to be a man's shirt sleeve, torn as if she had escaped a struggle. Third challenge. The town had no reports of missing children matching her description. Who was she? Where had she come from? The officers were hitting dead ends, but Rex hadn't given up. That night, while the girl rested at the station wrapped in a blanket, Rex paced near the evidence table. His nose twitched, pulling toward the fabric. Suddenly, he let out a sharp bark and tugged Officer Pierce toward the door. Rex was on the trail again. The officers followed him through dark alleys until they stopped outside an abandoned factory at the edge of town. The air was thick with dread. Rex barked furiously, clawing at the rusted door. Inside, the officers made a chilling discovery. Hidden beneath the factory were makeshift rooms, small, locked, and lined with old toys and clothing. It was a place no child should ever be, and the silent girl wasn't the only one. In that factory, the officers uncovered evidence of a horrifying operation. Children being held in silence, unseen and unheard. The girl had escaped. That piece of torn fabric, it belonged to the man who had kept her locked away. Her silence wasn't just fear, it was survival. Rex's discovery led to a massive rescue operation. More children were freed that night, their voices trembling as they returned to safety. The man behind it all was taken into custody. When the truth spread, Willow Creek was shaken to its core. How could something so dark have hidden in plain sight? How had no one noticed? But through the shock and sorrow, hope bloomed. Because one silent girl had found the courage to escape. Because one 9 hero had refused to stop searching. And because a community, though shaken, chose to come together to heal. Over time, the silent girl began to heal. Her first words didn't come in a therapy room or at the police station. They came one afternoon when Rex visited her foster home. She wrapped her arms around his neck, tears spilling down her cheeks, and whispered her very first word in months, "Hero." The story of Rex and the silent girl wasn't just about one rescue. It was about the power of never giving up, about the bond between humans and animals that can break through even the deepest silence, and about a town that learned the hard truth that darkness can hide anywhere, but so can light anywhere. Rex became a legend in Willow Creek. But to one little girl, he wasn't just a legend. He was the reason she found her voice again. The silent girl had been saved, the factory shut down, and the man behind it arrested. But what no one knew then was this. The story wasn't over. Because the girl carried a secret. A truth locked so deep inside her silence that even Rex, the town's hero dog, hadn't uncovered yet. Weeks after the rescue, Willow Creek seemed calm on the surface. The children freed from the factory were placed in safe homes. Counselors worked tirelessly to help them heal, and the town was still buzzing with the story of Rex's bravery. But the girl, now named Emily by her foster family, remained quiet. She still hadn't spoken more than a handful of words. Her nightmares grew worse. Every night she clung to Rex when he visited, trembling until morning. One evening she woke screaming. But this time, instead of silence, she whispered something that chilled everyone around her. "He's not gone." The police were stunned. The man they arrested, the supposed ringleader, was in custody. But Emily's terrified words hinted at something darker. Someone else was still out there. Officer Pierce decided to trust Rex once again. They gave the 9 the girl's blanket, and Rex immediately caught a scent. His growl rumbled low, pulling his handler toward the outskirts of town. The trail led to an abandoned farmhouse deep in the countryside. Rex stopped suddenly, his hackles raised, barking with a fury Pierce had only seen once before. Inside the farmhouse they discovered evidence, photographs, maps, coded notes that revealed the factory was just one part of a larger network. Emily's silence wasn't just trauma, it was fear. She had seen another man involved, someone still free, and worse, he knew she had escaped. Suddenly, Willow Creek wasn't safe anymore. Families panicked, locking their doors. Parents clutched their children tighter. Rumors spread like wildfire. What if there were more places like the factory? What if more children were missing? The officers faced a race against time. The biggest challenge now wasn't just finding one criminal. It was uncovering an entire hidden operation before it struck again. Late one stormy night, Rex's instincts kicked in once more. While patrolling near Emily's foster home, he broke from Pierce's side and bolted into the woods, barking frantically. What he found left the officers shaken, tire tracks leading directly toward Emily's neighborhood and footprints circling her home. The man hadn't given up. He was hunting her. With Rex leading, the officers set a trap. They staged extra patrols, hid surveillance, and waited. Days passed. Then he returned. Rex was the first to sense him, his growl piercing the night as the man crept toward Emily's window. Within seconds, Rex lunged, pinning the intruder until officers swarmed. It was him, the second ringleader, the shadow Emily had feared all along. The capture revealed the full scope of the operation. Dozens of missing children across state lines were finally identified and rescued, all thanks to Rex's relentless instincts and Emily's whispered warning. For the first time since her rescue, Emily smiled. And then, sitting beside Rex, she spoke more than one word. Her voice shook but carried strength. "We're safe. We're safe now." The town of Willow Creek learned that healing takes time, and heroes don't stop after one victory. Rex's loyalty didn't just save Emily once, it protected her, gave her courage, and uncovered a danger no one else saw coming. And for Emily, the girl who had once lived in silence, her voice became the most powerful proof that even in the darkest fear, hope can rise again. Months had passed since Rex stopped the intruder who haunted Emily's nightmares. The town of Willow Creek had begun to heal, the children rescued from the shadows, slowly finding safety and hope again. But Emily's journey wasn't over. Because while she was learning to find her voice, what she finally said would uncover one more secret, one that would shake the town in a way no one expected. And once again, it would be Rex who led the way. Emily's foster family, the Carters, gave her a loving home. She was speaking more now, sometimes even laughing when she played fetch with Rex. Her therapy sessions were working. Yet deep inside, Emily carried one last piece of the puzzle, something she had never told anyone, something that could not be hidden forever. One day during a drawing session, Emily froze. She sketched a picture of 2 men, not one, standing inside the factory. One was already behind bars, the second had been caught by Rex. But there was a third face, and this time Emily spoke clearly. "He was one of you." The room fell silent. The counselors, the officers, everyone froze. Emily wasn't just pointing to any man. She was pointing to someone in a police uniform. A chilling possibility surfaced. One of their own had been helping the criminals all along. Trust fractured. Officers grew suspicious of each other. The community that had praised the police now whispered in doubt. Could the very people meant to protect them have been hiding a traitor? The department decided to quietly investigate. But Rex didn't understand secrecy. He only understood truth. One night during a routine evidence review, Rex growled at a box of files. Officer Pierce opened it and found tampered reports, evidence that someone inside the department had erased details of missing children for years. Rex had uncovered what no human eyes noticed. The third man wasn't just a shadow. It was a betrayal. It didn't take long before suspicions pointed to an officer who had mysteriously avoided night shifts during the rescues. They set up a sting operation, with Rex at the center. When confronted, the man tried to flee, but Rex was faster. With a leap and a powerful bark, the 9 hero brought him down. The truth spilled. He had been feeding information to the criminals for years, covering their tracks in exchange for money and silence. When the trial began, Emily sat bravely in the courtroom, Rex by her side. For the first time since her rescue, she spoke openly, not just a whisper, but a steady, clear voice. Her testimony, combined with Rex's evidence trail, sealed the conviction. The town, once shaken by doubt, now stood stronger than ever. Because a little girl who had once lived in silence found the courage to speak, Emily was adopted by the Carters. Rex became a permanent part of her life, visiting often, always her protector. She no longer trembled at night. Instead, she dreamed of one day becoming a voice for other children who had been silenced. Her first public words in front of the town brought tears to every eye. I was silent once, but thanks to Rex, I don't have to be silent anymore. The people of Willow Creek learned a final lesson, that silence can hide terrible secrets, but courage can break chains, and that heroes don't always wear capes or uniforms. Sometimes they walk on 4 paws, carrying the strength to bring truth to light.